What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bangers Only podcast. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our YouTube channel. Yeah, guys, enjoy this one. Peace.
What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode.
What's going on, guys? We're here. And this is gonna be a little bit different. This is the first time we're doing this. We have a special guest, Brendan Baker.
Yes,
How you doing, my
sir.
guy?
Dude, I'm great. How you guys doing?
Just
Okay.
chilling, you know.
Just chilling. It's
Hanging
kind of
in
hot
there.
in my room. Not gonna lie.
Dude, for real, the same with me.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes like we used to have our fans on, and we would forget, and then that would bleed into the mic, and it would
Oh.
just mess it all up. But
Oh,
Rookie mistakes.
true.
mistakes. Yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, we're gonna just talk about your EP
For
and
sure.
go through it. Where do you want to start, Clarke? Where should we
Well,
pick this thing apart?
for a little bit of context, I feel like we should just let the audience know. So you released this in August, right? End of August.
Yes, sir. August 21st.
All right, for
Yes,
sure.
sir. Formal.
And I thought we were gonna drop the formalities, Brendan.
yeah.
Dude, I'm
But-
sorry. I'm excited to be here.
Good. I'm glad. But anyways, so you're a music production major like us, as
Yep.
everybody knows, because AJ and I talk about it. But you have been in multiple of our classes. You've been along for the ride.
Yeah.
And how long have you been just making music though? Like,
I mean, it probably started back in like 8th grade for me. I think that's when I really caught the music bug. And then in 9th grade, I got some songwriting lessons and my first like journal. So I just started writing down all my songs in that. And eventually I taught myself how to play guitar and just worked my way from there. And then, yeah, now I'm teaching myself how to play things on MIDI and just make beats and having a good time.
bet. Yeah, that's how it gotta be. But so what kind of like genre do you consider yourself? Because I've always I don't know like what genre you are. Like I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
You know?
I think what best fits is like alt pop, but
Alt pop.
to be honest, it's like kind of hard to determine because I just like to make good music, you know? So I feel like whatever I want to make for the day is where I'm going to end up being. So that could be country, that could be like a ballad, that could be hip hop. Like it, you know.
You ain't
it
never made no
ranges.
country song.
Dude, I've never made a country song, but I'm down. Dude, Lil Nas wanna hit me up?
Bro,
I'll
you
feature on
said-
Old Town Road. Old Town Road Remix 99. That's gonna be me.
Oh my god. No.
You said country, and like I was just
in
like
a country accent. Oh,
I don't know. I
Yeah.
just don't like country.
dude,
but,
nobody
like,
likes country. What's wrong with Big Green Tractor?
everything. Everything.
Discussion for another day. There's a reason why we haven't listened to any
True.
country music on this podcast.
Yeah, right. I forgot. Bangers only. Bangers only.
Bangers only bangers. So
Facts.
your EP, what was this like? I mean, like timeline wise for your music. So like, how much have you released before this, or like, what do you consider it as like in terms of a release? Like a big release, big first release, sophomore project? I don't know, because I know you got other music before this, but what would you consider it?
Yeah, so I feel like it's a big first release. But I also feel like it's like, I don't know, kind of like a rookie year thing. Like it's not going to be as good as the music I want to make because I did it all by myself from my bedroom, but it's like still a pretty solid project that I'm proud of. I think the songs are good. I've got a lot of stuff up on SoundCloud, but it's all just pretty like meh, you know. So I think in terms of production value, this is the highest quality stuff I've set up. In the end, I was a little disappointed with the way I'm like mixed and mastered it, but I think, you know, all in all, it sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
For
no,
sure.
I'd agree with that in terms of like production wise, like, because I feel like your stuff on SoundCloud is super rough, like
Yeah.
demo wise, like
Yeah,
it's just
for
like
sure.
you and an instrument or something.
Yeah.
And, but I mean, I'm sure Adrian saw it too. The increase in quality of the production was definitely something I noticed right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean that's always the first thing I notice is like, you know, the production, like what level is it at now? Because sometimes when you listen to a song with some like crappy production, you're like, I can't do this. It's like things get lost, things get muddy.
I mean, that was my main thing. I just wanted to be able to listen to my own music. Because before I would try to sit down and I'm like, this is like nails on a chalkboard. Like, it's just so painful. Even though I like my songs, it's just like, it's not where it needed to be.
Yeah.
You got to go through that though, like to get to.
Yeah.
Because like, even if you're not like entirely like, you don't think what you released is like your best work ever, it's improvement, and you want to see improvement as an artist. Like, if your project is better than the last project, then like that's what matters most. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It shows that you're in the right direction.
Yeah, that's why I left all that other stuff up, because I just like, I want to have like a reference point when I'm older and be like, look at how bad I was.
No, but that's bold though, that you kept it.
Yeah.
You keep it all up, because like, so I had a whole ass album when I was a sophomore in high school, and that shit is horrible, and I took it down from everywhere, and I'm not ever gonna let anybody listen to it, because I don't have the balls to do that.
Is that the one I messaged you that one time about, where I was like, damn, I fuck with this song, and you were like, oh, thanks.
No.
Some shit that I did.
That, I think that's still up, but no, nobody's heard this other one except for like high school people.
When did you take it down?
Probably my junior year of high school.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Then I definitely.
Yeah, I
haven't
wouldn't
heard
have.
it. I want to though.
Yeah,
send it my way, boy.
It was fully remixes. Like the entire thing was just remixes, because I don't know how to produce back then. But this is about you, not me.
Yeah, fine.
That's okay.
So like you said, Brendan, I mean, you said this was like a completely like solo project. Like you did everything, huh?
Yeah.
And you did it out of Ableton?
Ableton and Pro Tools, yeah.
Ableton and Pro Tools. Yeah, I mean, I cannot with Pro Tools. It's it's janky. I'm not a fan.
After working a whole summer with it, I can tell you I'm not a fan. Like I much prefer Logic. Like, it's so much better. I don't know why I spent $300 on this piece of garbage, but shout out to Benny.
Shout out to Benny. Bro, you should have got the student pricing. I'm only paying like $8.25 a month.
I just paid the 100.
I got the perpetual license, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm only paying for like when I actually need it. Like, I canceled it in the summer because I was like, I'm not gonna freaking use this.
No, that was smart, because I didn't know what it was like really when I bought it. So I just kind of bought it on a whim, like, hey, like, I need a DAW upgrade, so I'm just gonna get Pro Tools. And then I was like, I'm stuck with Pro Tools.
Yeah. Bro, they don't let you cancel it.
Yeah.
If you do it like for the like year or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't let you cancel it. But this shows our age, honestly, because like, I know that we all like the conveniency of Logic and Ableton, but
it's user friendly, man.
It's so user
That's what makes it great. Like, it's so good for a creative person. I feel like Pro Tools is a lot better for like post production, and like you just go in there, you mix in the box and go on with your day. But I feel like creative wise, like the workflow, I feel like it's very slow.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, like, what were you gonna say, Clarke?
I was just gonna move on.
Yeah, for sure. I was trying to move on too.
All right, so I wanted to ask you, Brendan, because you had said Ableton was like your main kind of in terms of like producing it, and then you mixed in whatever in Pro Tools. But what was your kind of like your thought process and your routine in terms of making a song, if you had one? Like, some people don't, some people do, but would you go in with the melody, or go in with like a pattern you wanted, like a drum pattern or something, or lyrics, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so I think it kind of depends on like a song by song basis, but for the most part, I'll start with just some chords that I like hear, or just, I don't know, just played out, and then I'll like try to find some sounds that I like for drums and just make a beat. But a lot of my production process is just finding sounds that I like, just like combing through everything that I have in Ableton. I bought like a sound pack for drums, so I have a bunch of like super weird like drum sounds that I like, and I used a few of them in the EP. So yeah, it's just a lot of combing through sounds and like finding things that kind of gel together, and looking for stuff that I like and want to listen to.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that you had a drum pack that you had got like prior to making it, because I remember on the song Light, there was a whole bunch of like random percussion sounds that were going on, and I mean it makes sense now. You were trigger happy with like your new drum pack, so that's kind of cool that you told us that, because it makes sense now.
Yeah. Well, that song's super cool too, because I just like wanted this kind of like happy explosion of a bunch of random stuff. And so like on like into the drum kit, I put 2 variations of me saying the word hey. Shout out to our unreleased song, Clarke. And
Bro, I forgot about hey.
Dude, we gotta get working on that. Anyway, sidetracked. So it was me pitched up an octave saying hey, and then me pitched down, I think, saying hey, and I like put that on a drum pad, and I just played it whenever I felt like I wanted a hey in there. So
I remember that. There's like the chipmunk one.
There's like
and the hey. Yeah. That was hard. I like that.
Yeah.
I really liked Light as like an opener. It was very like light hearted and like just very just like mellow.
Good vibes.
Are you a fan of Rex Orange County?
I've heard of Rex Orange County. I don't listen to a lot of Rex Orange County.
Yeah. I was getting like some like Pony vibes. Like just like I don't know if you've ever listened to that project, but it sounded very similar. I was just wondering if you got like inspiration from that.
No,
because a lot of people tend to make music from like, based off of who they like and like where that's where they draw their inspiration. So I was just wondering. But I liked it. It was like a short track, but it was just like it was good enough for like an opener.
Yeah.
That was good.
I'd agree with that. I think that this track was like, in terms of your mixing, I think this track was one of the stronger ones in terms of the vocals, like how well mixed they were.
Yeah, I think probably like looking back, I've listened to them. I didn't do the car test, guys. Like I failed.
The car test.
Bro, the car test has gotta happen.
I didn't do the car test. Like I did it halfway through my production phase, and I was like, oh, this needs to be louder. So then I bumped everything up, but I didn't like go back one more time and make sure that it sounded like fluid together. So some of my songs, like the drums are just nowhere to be found, and it's just so sad. Like
because I listened to it before we started recording too, and I was like, are my headphones just like not picking up any low end? But like,
no, it's like it's just it got so boggled down because I was using a VU meter on Pro Tools, and it was telling me I was like way over. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go down, and then it just like it took all my low end out. So yeah, that's why I say I didn't mix it very well, because I'm kind of disappointed with that.
Yeah. But I mean, when I said I liked how it was mixed, I was more talking about the vocals, because I think the vocals were pretty well mixed on there.
Yeah, I think like in general the vocals sit in a good spot, but I think the beat in all the songs could be louder.
Yeah. I mean, you have a tendency to mix your vocals really loud.
Yeah, it's because I'm a singer. Like I only hear vocals when I sing.
My mom does the same thing. She would say, like, back when she was in a band, like, she'd always want to have the vocals higher, and then like my dad, because he's a guitar player, would want the guitars in the front, and they usually ended up being in the front. But yeah, no, that's interesting you say that.
Yeah.
But I do agree, like your vocals are like pretty spot on for this. Like I liked it. Did you use the SM7B for that?
Yeah. This is my trusty steed. Did a lot of singing on this, Jay. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, that hypes me up because Clarke just got the SM7B.
Hey, I finally upgraded.
Yeah, finally upgraded. And like, whenever like I help him on a track and I'm like working on his vocals, like trying to work with stuff coming off a Blue Snowball that's a USB mic.
Yeah, it's
rough. It's a challenge, but
Bro, but I will say, like, that Blue Snowball mic is good. Like, it's a good mic
solid.
For a $60 mic. Like, even Benny said it was good. Like, he was like, "What did you record this on?" I was like, "My USB mic." He's like, "Do you have another mic?" And I was like, "No."
Freaking Benny, man.
Pretty crazy.
No, I mean, like, it was like, this gives me hope to hear these vocals and say like, okay, like, it's gonna be like next song I work on with Clarke is gonna be like really nice.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like the workflow is just gonna like go so much faster.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
It fits your vocals well too. Like
It does.
Yeah. I was super hyped on it because I was like, oh, Michael Jackson used this mic? Like, hell yeah. Like, he's got great vocals. And then I used it and I was like, oh, shit. Like, I sound good too. Like, who knows?
yeah. No, it's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, like for like the SM7B, like it really gets like that, you don't lose that low end, you know, like it just sounds like tight. It keeps like the vocal tight. Like even off the rip, even without like any like EQ or stuff, like it sounds decent.
Yeah.
You know, and then you just add some more. Like, remember what Aguilar always used to say, like, you know, capture the magic.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like with the SM7B, like you're really able to capture that magic and then you just keep adding to it.
Yeah.
And it ends up being a really good recording, really good like vocal mix. So props on that, man. I feel like I can't mix to save my life sometimes. But like, you know, I can, you know, put in EQs and use the APIs, like those trusty dusty APIs. Yeah. You know? But yeah, for sure, man. Props on the vocals on this song.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have a favorite song on here?
Yeah, so I think out of all the people I've showed it to, only one person has told me it's their favorite song. It's Fucked Up. I just think that song is just so fun, and it represents kind of like what I'm about to the best of my ability, because it's like the whole thing is like a fantasy. Like I've like all the lyrics are about like the French Revolution and like King Arthur and slaying dragons and goblins and things, but it's kind of like a metaphor that alludes to like a relationship that I never had, that had me fucked up. Actually, it's not about a relationship. I take that back, because I'm remembering why I wrote this song. It was actually about online dating.
Interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, no, and that's the fun thing about that song is like it's just like all these like weird metaphors and things, and you would never know like what it's actually about.
Yeah, I had no idea. It's cool that you were able to explain it on here.
Yeah.
I think you and I talked about this song before you released the project.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I had told you that I wasn't a fan of the rap verse.
Yeah.
So what were you thinking when I told you that?
I mean, you know, coming from the best rapper this side of the world, that you know, it wasn't great, but I stuck with my guns because I was really proud of what I had said in the verse, and I liked the auto-tune aspect of it for the song. Like I felt like it really comes across that this is like a fantasy thing when my vocals sound fake as hell, you know?
No, yeah, I remember your use of the autotune on there was pretty spot on. I liked it.
Yeah. I do it like kind of subtly, but at the same time you're like, oh, that's kind of obvious that that's not like actually him. That's just autotune.
No, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, like, I liked the beat for that track because like it had a lot of details that didn't get too like lost in translation in a way. Like I feel like in other songs on here, like for instance, we were talking about Light. I feel like sometimes, like I said, you seemed a little trigger happy with the drum things that were going on, but like this song, I feel like was one of the stronger beats too.
Yeah,
because it was stripped down and simple, but like it was still really good.
Yeah. I kept it real simple. I think my favorite part of that beat is this drum kick that I found off the producer pack that I bought, because it goes boom, tick, 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 and there's like this little delay tick that you like only ever hear at like the beginning and the end of the song, and it's so cool to me. So I don't know, like. I geek out about that song all the time. Like when I made it, I was like, "Oh my god, this is such a good song."
Yeah, no, I fuck with it. Adrian, do you have a favorite? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, I really liked "State of Mind."
Thank you.
I just like the just the vibe of that song.
Yeah.
Um, and like I'll be honest with you, like I don't know if you've heard it's like past podcasts that we've done and where I talk about like the placement of songs and how you need to line each song up. Um, and like overall, like for this project, I thought it was pretty well like laid out, you know. And like I'm not sure if you put the songs in like that particular order for
I
that
did,
reason.
yeah. I fought with my mom about it because she's like, you should put your best song first. And I'm like, fuck that. Like any true artist knows, like there's an order of how the songs should go, and like it to me, it just felt like the right order. Like going from light, like that had to be my introduction because it was about like I like this is just like for fun. This isn't something that I'm doing for any other purpose, and it's just like a lighthearted little thing. But it's also like kind of my struggle because it's like I through this lighthearted thing, I want to help people and I want to help the world get better. So then that kind of set up the whole album or EP for success, I think.
Bro, I feel what you're saying like entirely because I feel like to a degree you want your like at least some of your stronger songs near the front, but
yeah,
you need to I feel like the intro of a project serves such a purpose, like the most vital purpose of any song on that album next to like the closer
yeah,
and the second track in my opinion, because like you look at a project like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye, and the first track on there is Dark Fantasy, and it's not the best track on the album, but no other track on the album could be the first track.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's just how I saw it.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, like, that's how it got to be. And then your second track, it's got to be like addressing the tone of the project in a way. You know what I mean? And then like, I don't know. I'm a big fan of intros. I think intros got to be something special. And I liked how light was the intro on here.
Yeah. Thank you.
But like I've said it before, like when I listen to an album or just someone's project, you know, and if I don't fuck with like the first song, like I just don't want to listen to the rest of it.
True. Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's just for me, it's in a way like somewhat of a tone setter.
Yeah.
You know, just like what vibes am I gonna get? Like, what's the production gonna be like? Can I stand this? You know, like mentally listening to this. And then light, like it did it for me. I was like, all right, cool. Like I'm ready for the rest of this.
That's good.
You know, and then like each song, I was just really happy with the placement. Especially when I got to The Man Who Never Cried. Like it's the middle of your EP. It's like almost the middle. It's like the second half of your EP. It starts it off. And like you took it back and like you mellowed it out.
Yeah.
You know, and like the background vocals I thought were really nice. Your lung capacity is impressive.
You held out the notes.
You hold out those notes for like a hot minute.
Yeah.
You know, for me, like, you know, an honest opinion, it's like sometimes it could be held too long. You know, and then but like, I mean, you made it work. Like I was trying to count the seconds. I think I got to like 7 seconds. It was a long time to be held. And like I was impressed, but also like sometimes I feel like you could take it away. Especially sometimes when you because you did it like 4 like 6 times in a row. But overall, I mean, like I was impressed. And I feel like at this point in like the EP, it's like a weird like not subject matter. It's an interesting subject matter, and like this is like the way I interpreted it. It's like like it was just the point of view from like a dude, and like at this point he just has no emotion, and like because you're talking about things that would make people feel upset and make people like in a way want to cry. But it's just like the title is The Man Who Never Cried, and like it just shows that like what could be worse than like what he's going through. Like why is he not crying? What has he been through? You know, and like that's my interpretation of it. I don't know if that's what you were going for. I could be completely off. But
no,
I mean, if you could like explain it.
Yeah, I really like that interpretation. So when I wrote the song, I was thinking, okay, I just want to write a ballad because that's like 90% of the stuff that I had been doing before I did this project. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to that comfort zone. And then I was just like kind of sad one night, and I was like, the words just kind of poured out of me, and I felt like it was representing a part of me that I felt I wasn't holding up my end of my bargain to my friends at Kowloon. I felt like I had kind of just like lost contact with everybody and just like shut them out. Just cuz I like the whole quarantine thing, and I just felt like I needed a break from um the semester, I guess, and everything. So that song was probably the most emotionally loaded song on the album for me. But yeah, it was just kind of about where I was at that time. Not really any metaphors, but I'm glad you got a metaphor out of it, cuz I think that's the fun of songwriting. Like anyone can interpret whatever they want from it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this track, I think it's obvious how emotional it is and that it's the most emotional track on here. And I think that's really important too, because it was like a good break, you know?
Yeah.
Like a needed little hiatus in the path that this project was going in, you know? And then it goes to Fucked Up, which I think is a great transition, you know?
Yeah.
But I think something I remember telling you when you had first sent this to me was that this track was very like Broadway. It's very theater.
Yeah.
You know? At least in its delivery and its instrumentation. I mean, it's straight up like a piano and you, and then some strings, you know?
Yeah.
And so I wanted that to kind of segue a little bit, if you wouldn't mind talking, because I know you're a theater guy, like you act.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of see how you use that in your music making and how that has influenced you and what you take from that as a musician and an actor.
Yeah, for sure. I think the most important thing is that it just helps me connect to the songs so much better. Like, just having that grounding in musical theater helps me realize, like, there's a point to every song, and there's a reason that you're singing it. Like, you're not just singing because, like, you could say it better. Like, singing puts that emotion into it, and like, you just can't help but sing the words that you're saying. Like, just talking it wouldn't do it justice. So I think really having that importance behind it is the main like grounding. But then also just stylistically, I think it's fun to have like a diversity in your repertoire. So I think like being grounded in musical theater again really helps me like branch out into these weird different styles. Like how many other people have like a quasi hip hop EP with a ballad like that on it? Like I don't know, that's kind of special.
Yeah, no, that's what I think that's why I wanted to ask that question, is because like it's clear the inspiration and it enhances your musical ability to a way that your audience can see.
Yeah.
But if I had to give one critique for this song, would be that sometimes you'll hit one of the big notes prior to the piano getting to the place where it needs to be. And sometimes it was just a little off-putting. I don't know if that was intentional or not, like the slightly offbeat nature.
Yeah. I mean, like in a perfect world, I don't think I would have done that, but I kind of liked the emotional signaling of not being on beat with some of those, cuz like most of them are on, but like some of them are off, and I think it just kind of adds to like the instability of the song and how vulnerable it is. So like if I had the chance to do it over again, I'd probably make them on beat. But I think that it does add something to the song.
Yeah, I can see that. I have another question. Sorry, AJ.
You're good, bro. You're good.
Do you have a least favorite song on here?
Ooh.
Because I feel like artists don't usually think that way, you know?
Yeah.
Like or a song that you're not as proud of as the other ones. I don't want to say like least favorite. But
I mean,
you know
like,
what I mean.
like when I was making it, it was probably light because I was just like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, and I don't know if this is what this song needs to be. But then, like I really liked them all coming together. I'd say the one I had the hardest time with was Crazy, because there's just like so many stupid things that I did in that song, and I just like, I don't know, like just from a production standpoint, like I just made my life a lot harder than it needed to be, like so many times. So I had to go back and like redo things.
Song.
Yeah, I think in the end the product was really good, and that's why that's the one with the little star next to it on Apple Music. But I definitely worked the most on that song. Like that's the first one I started, and that's the last one I finished.
Interesting. That's my favorite one on there.
Yeah, I think the beat is just like nuts. Like I don't know how that came out of me.
It's a super great instrumental.
Cause like before this project, I didn't really make beats.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of my introduction. So
you're kind of
like, for like for an introduction to like making your own beats, like this isn't bad.
Yeah,
you know, like I remember taking intro to music production and hearing people's loop projects. The very first project, the one where loops are already made for you, you just have to put things that work together. Dude, there was some things I'm like, bro, like what is it? What is this? Like, what am I listening to? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like those were loops. They weren't having to create anything. All the work was done for them. They just had to fucking paste things together. You know, and like, you know, you did this, like, I'm sure there's like some loops here and there, but like still, like, there's a lot of production that went into it. There's a lot of thought.
I mean,
you know,
I played it all on a MIDI roll, and then I looped what I played.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
Like you created your own loops. You put your own thought. You know, like there was definitely like some method to your madness in all these songs, and like it, you know, it's your creation. It's original.
Yeah.
You know, you're probably not going to hear some other person's song be like, oh yeah, that's the same loop I used. You know, I know where that loop's from. It's from Logic. You know, like you remember listening to like everybody's song and everybody used like the same drum beat or like the same sample. You're like, oh, like, what the hell? You know, like why you copying me, bro?
I think that this is like a testament to musical talent, though, that like I think the three of us have, because you haven't been making beats for that long, Brendan, and like this is better than like a lot of stuff that people have been who have been doing it for longer than you. You know, it's better than them. So I do definitely give you props for that.
Thank you.
Fun fact, Adrian, that loop project in that intro to music production class, that was the first beat I ever made.
The first beat you ever made?
It is.
No way.
That's his introduction.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
I guess in a way that was mine too. But I wouldn't call what I made a beat. Like it was just I just threw some shit together, you know.
Yeah, I mean everybody threw some stuff together.
Yeah, I mean that was the point of it.
Yeah.
Like if I go back and listen to it, I will probably cringe at myself. Like what was I thinking?
Bro, I listen to it sometimes. I'm like, this is kind of hard.
Yeah, sometimes they go hard. You're like, all right, I like it. You know, like
Bro,
I don't know where my mind was
vibes.
when I was making that one, but like still, like sometimes I look at it, like sometimes I'm like, wow, like I can't believe I made this, and sometimes like I don't want to believe I made this. Like it was like that.
Yeah.
But that it's like what sets people apart though is that like, because Brendan and me, like that was our like we were very early in the production game there, and like I know personally me, like I've worked so hard to become a better producer, and I know that it's paid off. I know that it shows, and it shows for you, Brendan, too, on this project.
Yeah.
Do you ever like sometimes go back and listen at some songs you've made, and like you're like, whoa, like I definitely have improved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
for
sometimes
sure.
you just go back to an old Logic session. You're like, what was I working on? Like what direction was this even going? Dude,
I've had some so bad I just delete them right off the computer. I'm like, this I don't know what. I must have been high.
Brendan.
Nah, I don't smoke.
We'll talk about that.
I must have been high on life.
High on life. You love it.
God.
Nah, I mean like production wise, man, like super good. Like I was really impressed with it, and like the fact that you just told me like this was your first time like actually making your own beats, and like that for me like elevates it more. You know, like that's just like those little facts you find out later down the road. You're like, oh crap, like I didn't know that, and now like I appreciate it more.
Maybe I should advertise that. Like, hey, this is my first ever thing that I did all by myself.
People do that
in my
though.
bedroom.
Like people do that like all the time. You know, and it's a selling point.
Yeah, it's definitely a selling point. Like, oh, like, because like it's a completely at that point it makes it a completely like solo project. Like, you had your hands on every single part of this. You didn't like get a loop from somewhere. You didn't just take a beat off of YouTube and like call it yours. You know, that's not a diss at you, Clarke. I'm not dissing at you. I'm not.
Ooh,
you know,
some shade.
I'm not.
I make those beats mine, and you know that.
Yeah, you do. You really do. Okay. But that's not what I was trying to say. I'm just saying, like, the originality is there. You can hear that it's original.
Yeah.
You know,
and I did use Clarke's ears a little bit. He lent me his pair. Yeah.
Like, honestly, Clarke has some of the best ears, like, I know.
For sure.
Like, and, like, whenever I'm, like, super, like, what is it, like, insecure about, like, what I'm making, I'm just like, all right, I'm going to just send it to him and let me see what he says. You know, and sometimes people are like, bro, that was fire. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm safe. Yeah. You know, and there's times where he's like, nah, bro, like that was garbage. And I'm like, okay, respect. Like,
I've never said that to you.
I know you've never said that.
I don't think Clarke would say that.
He's never said that. But, you know, he'll be like, he's like, I don't really like this part. And I'm like, okay, yeah, me too. Like, that's what I was like wondering. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was working on one today and like he just told me earlier, he was like, yeah, I don't really fuck with the drums. And I'm like, okay, like that's not a big deal. Like it's constructive criticism.
Right.
You know? He's not bashing on the track, but it's just constructive.
I
appreciate you saying I have some of the best ears, though. That's a big compliment.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's so important for musicians, though, to be able to like say things in a constructive way without tearing each other down. Because like much, I just hear like I'll take Eric for example. Shout out Eric to the homie. He'll just like bash on some like. I don't know, somebody somewhere. Although he really likes Blueface, but like
he's just playing.
We bash on Blueface, and I feel like it's such a weird culture, you know, like where bashing's more funny than like lifting people up.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like people who are outsiders and like just the audience, you know, like Eric. I don't blame him for his reactions to my music, to your music, to anybody's, because he's the customer, you know?
Yeah.
And like, not everybody's gonna like everything that you make. And like, I think I commend him for telling people what he truly thinks of their music. You know what I mean? Even if it's hard to hear.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, because he doesn't know how to communicate with you or with me the way that I communicated with you when you asked me for feedback.
Right.
You know, like I approached you in a way that was very like I took time to craft the comments that I gave you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not a music production major, but like he's a guy who listens to music. He likes music, so take it with a grain of salt. And it's different. You know?
Asking someone like that, like a guy like Eric, is, you know, you're gonna get like some honest feedback. You know. Because you've sent him, he's listened to multiple things, and in a way you can trust that, you know. But like, you know, I'll show my mom some stuff. She goes, "Oh, I like it," and I'm like, "That's it," you know. And like, it's my mom, and especially my dad too. He'll be like, "Okay, that's cool," you know. Like I remember I showed him Clarke's like, you know, beat switch in the Max in the car once, and I was like hyped when it happened. I was getting goosebumps. I was like freaking out.
No, me too.
And I was like, "Dad, what did you think?" He goes, "It was okay." I was like, what do you mean it was okay? Like, that was nice. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. He's like, I mean, I liked it. He was just calm about it. And I was like, no, get hyped with me. I need you to like jam out with me. Like, you know, show some excitement. And like, that's just how they are. So like, you know, I can't really ask them for opinions. I'm just like, listen to this, you know.
Or you got to play him Light by Brendan Baker. That'll get him in the mood.
Definitely. Mood. For sure. Let me see. I had something I wanted to ask. So this is like one question I want to ask. Like along this like journey of creating this EP, and like, did you run into like any like, you know, bumps or just random setbacks that were just like, Oh, that's I said it all.
Said it all.
Dude, tons. Like it's like everywhere I went was just setbacks because it's like you're learning how to do this all on your own for the first time. So, like, I would look up YouTube videos on how to get the specific effect that I want to get for the song, and then go down like this rabbit hole of like, no, this isn't quite it. No, this is like the wrong way. No, I don't like this. Like he's doing it wrong. And then like so much of me like editing and redoing a bunch of things. Like once I had the beats, those were pretty much set. So those were pretty easy to do. But then like vocals and like mixing wise, like just so many like pick your poison. Like I probably had a setback every step of the way. Like one step forward, two steps back.
Yeah, those are always the worst. And like
but
it's
like,
tough to keep your motivation and like to just keep grinding,
Yeah.
you know, but
yeah.
that's part of producing music is
It makes it
being
more
in love with
satisfying.
that grind.
Yeah,
It
for
does.
sure. Like now that I'm done, I'm just kind of like coasting off the momentum of that project.
Mhm.
Like it's been almost a month and I haven't even like touched anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm just
And-
like, okay, I need like a break for a bit because it's
Yeah, that's
definitely
totally
a
okay.
grind.
Breaks
It's
are
totally
crucial.
okay.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't realize that for the longest time, and like I thought that I had to like outwork people who
Mhm.
I didn't even know in order to be successful.
Right.
And like you're not gonna put out anything good if you're just making shit 24/7. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And like it gets hard, but like I said, it's satisfying when you get through it and like you put out a project like what you put out. And I mean, I guess I have another question. Would you consider it a success?
Yeah, I think it's a success. Cuz I think in my eyes a success is just improvement. And I think I learned a lot of things through doing this project and I'm going to know those things going into the next one. So like my goal for the end of 2020 is to release 2 more singles. I haven't even started those singles. I don't know what they're going to be. Maybe you guys want to help me out with something.
Yee.
Yeah.
Clock's ticking.
For sure. Yeah, clock's ticking. I got 3 months left. But like I forgot the question, but yeah, that was my answer.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
I think it's a success.
Yeah, success.
And like you
that's right.
said,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's a success. You know, it's probably not getting played on the radio,
No.
but like
even
personal,
close.
it's like a personal success.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like
mean,
you put
like,
something out.
it's like 100 listens right now, like something like over every platform, but like that's
Mhm.
okay. Like that's a success in my eyes. That's more listens than I had before.
And you saw
Yeah.
improvement as an artist, which is
Yeah.
the goal, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I know artists, like, people are in it for the money and the fame and the attention, but, like, I also know people are in it to just be good at what they love to do, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah,
So-
obviously, like money is like a cool thing, but I feel like if that's your only goal, then like, you know, you're not gonna like really enjoy it.
Yeah.
At that point, it just becomes a job,
Yeah.
and like that's not like they always say like you'll never work a day in your life if you do what you love,
Yeah.
and like if you're doing what you love and you're making music that you like to make, you know, then you're never working. You're just having fun. You're enjoying your life.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, you know, I feel like that's what you're doing, man. I just like definitely keep that up.
Yeah,
I'll
bro.
try as long as I can get paid for it in the future. Like,
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like we gotta eat.
yeah, like
That's the
I don't want
caveat,
to
too. It's like-
starve, but like I'm gonna do what I want.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like I'm in it for the money, but like if I get paid for it, then that'd be pretty cool. Like if I can
Yeah.
support myself with my music, that's the goal. But
yeah.
but like I like this project in a whole just because like it's clear like the experimentation
Mhm.
and like how much it worked for you. Cause like the confidence is there in the music. And I
Mhm.
think that's crucial. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think confidence is definitely something I have a lot of. I don't think that's ever going to be a problem with my music.
Well, that's good. But that leads into a question that I've been wanting to ask, which is actually a great segue. But how do you deal with doubt as a musician? Like self-doubt.
I mean, I definitely had some with this project because I have 3 like rap verses on different songs that I had never rapped before, or like written raps, and I wrote a lot in the process that just were terrible, so I didn't go through with those. But with self-doubt, I guess I just like keep working until I feel like what I've made is like good and like I want to listen to. Like I feel like with my ear I have like an objective standard, and like if it's not good, then it's not good, and I know. But like if it's good, then I don't have any self-doubt anymore, cuz it's like this is something I can be proud of.
Yeah. And Adrian, I know you've been, I mean, you and I have both been dealing with that a little bit lately. I mean, I know I have. Like I'll make something and I'll be like, this is pure garbage, and like it might not be, but sometimes it just feels like you can't do anything right, you know?
Funny story, that when I made Crazy, I was like, this is so bad. I'm going to show it to my mom and see what she thinks. And she's like, wait, why aren't you going to release this? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I just think it's kind of stupid. And she's like, what? Like, this is my favorite song. I was like, oh, okay.
You gotta get other ears on it, bro.
Yeah.
It's crucial.
Yeah. But that's why, like, every time I make something, like, even if it's like 25 seconds of like something, I always just send it to somebody. And I'm like, where do you like this? Like, what you hear right now, like, would you want to keep hearing more?
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes people say, nah, really. And I'm like, okay, like, you know, and I just kind of leave it there.
Tough.
Yeah. But like, you know, what I find like the most like fun sometimes, because whenever I make a track, I don't title them. I just like, when I click save for the first time, I just like hit random buttons and like I'll go back to it. Like if it's a song I really care about, I'll give it like some random name and I'll put it in a certain folder. But like if it's something I just tried out and I was experimenting, I just like click random keys and whatever it saves as, it does. And like months down the road, I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna start going through these, and I'll look through it and I'm like, hey, I kind of like this. And sometimes I'll just pull like 4 different things from like 4 separate projects and put it into one, and like I have something that I actually like. You know?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I like an 808 from one project, I like the drums from another, and I like, you know, like a melody from this one. I put them all together. I'm like, all right, this is dope.
Yeah. I did that with a synth line in Light. It's kind of in the background. I don't know if you hear it very well. But it's like a doot 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 doot.
I don't remember
that kind of thing. It comes in towards the end. And like I had that on a different song, and then I was like, this song is not panning out, so I just copied, pasted it in the Light, and I was like, oh, that's where it's at. That's the shit.
I love it when that type of thing happens.
Yeah.
It's like talented guesswork, you know, and you just get so lucky.
Yeah.
But for me, that happens with lyrics. Is like I might write something to like a beat, and I'm like, this just doesn't fit. Or like I'll go back and look at, because I used to do a bunch of like remixes to like really long beats. Like I'd write like a straight up 64 bars in a row, just like to practice, and then I'd be like, where could I take this verse? And then I plug it into a song with like a similar tempo, and it's like, wait, this is fire. Or it might not even be a similar tempo, and then I just like rap faster or rap slower, and it's like, that's always just fun to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't write lyrics like that, so I don't know how that works for you guys. But I guess it's like the same thing with like beats, just like pulling stuff from other stuff. You're like, hey, this worked for me.
Creative process.
No, I mean, hey, I can't wait for like a future collab between the 3 of us, just working on one thing.
That's why I wish.
Trying to get Clarke to finish Hey before we left Kowloon, but
I can drive over there and like get the file off the server if you want me to.
For real, I think Clarke has a version of it.
I do. Yeah. I think I do. But yeah, I was hella busy near the end of that semester.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't mean to throw shade or anything, but
No,
It's already
fine.
been thrown, so you can't take it back.
true. I won't
Definitely.
that.
Already
take
in
it
the
back.
shade.
I won't take it back.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I mean, Clarke, like, do you have any other questions? Like, do you want to go over anything else about this?
No, I think I hit everything I thought of. I didn't like write these questions before, so like they kind of just came to me as
Yeah.
it was going. So like I don't have anything on my mind right now.
Dang.
For sure. What about you, Brendan? You got anything else you want to say?
Hit me up on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Play, Google Play, Amazon Music.
Oh wait, what?
Anywhere you find music.
We didn't ever say the name of your project.
Oh, yeah. So 50 minutes in, it's Lessons Learned in Quarantine EP.
All right.
It's 6 songs, in case you couldn't tell. I think the only one we didn't talk about was Be Alright, which I think was like Clarke's favorite song.
No, Crazy was my favorite song.
I mean, honestly, Be Alright was nice, bro. It was a solid, like, outro. It was fun, lighthearted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a great outro.
Like, it had, like, a bounce to it that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. I wanted to start
And-
and end with something lighthearted.
Yeah, I
good.
thought it was good.
The lessons were learned in quarantine.
True.
Yeah, I guess I
Oh,
got
yeah.
a final question, I guess. What have you learned any other lessons in quarantine?
So like the idea behind the EP was like I learned 6 lessons and then I had them all like written down, I think, and then I just forgot all of them. So like each song is a lesson that I learned in quarantine, but then promptly forgot. So the main lessons that I've actually learned in quarantine is like how to be okay with just you, like just hanging around, you know, because being stuck inside all day, you're like alone with your thoughts basically, like all day. So it's like, you know, how are you gonna make the most of it? How are you gonna be the best version of yourself that you can be? That's probably the biggest one that I learned in quarantine, and you know that's hard to work at. It's a grind every day, just like music, and you know that's something. Hopefully, I'll look back on again and be like, yeah, I've made some improvement.
Yeah, lessons. But
I mean, honestly, that's a really good lesson, like to like figure that out. Because I mean, I
Be
struggle
alone.
with like being alone sometimes. Like it's
Mhm.
just like not. I just kind of like end up walking around and being like, what do I do?
Yeah,
You know, and I just feel like
Yeah.
I'm wasting a lot of time. I get very like unproductive. You know,
Yeah.
like I have that mindset like, all right, I'm gonna be alone. Like that's enough time to like work on music. I can do homework, and I end up just not doing either of that.
yeah,
You know, and like there's like the emotional part of it where you're just kind of like you have too much time. It's too much time to think.
right,
You know,
Yeah.
you start overthinking, and overthinking is where like you can really go wrong.
yeah,
You know, but like at that point, like you just gotta like reach out to somebody, just like talk, just catch up with somebody if you need to.
yeah.
You know,
I think that's good, but I also think like if you're having trouble with that, like you can't distract yourself from yourself, you know? So
Yeah.
like eventually you got to come to grips with whatever's going on. So like yeah, I think like it's always good to reach out for help, but I think like at the end of the day you're the only person you can change. So
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because like I'm kind of the opposite. Like I had to kind of train myself to be like go out more, like go
Mm.
do things more instead of like I was talking about earlier, like the fear of not being good enough at music to like make it. So like I
Yeah.
just would do it every single night or whatever when I'm alone, and like it became a chore, and so like I had to
yeah,
talk to more people, you know.
yeah.
Especially with college, you know, I had to really break out of my introvert shell.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
But-
remember that first studio session.
Chill.
My boy was timid. I mean, I was timid too, but like I
Bro,
wasn't.
I
the one
didn't
on the
even know
mic.
you. I was like, who is this guy?
Um,
I'm talking about when we were recording, bro.
I know. I didn't even know you. Like, I knew
True.
who you were. I didn't know, like, who you were.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I
this
was
dude's
nervous,
about
but
to-
for different reasons.
Like, you were about to hear me spit. And, like, I didn't do that really in front of many people.
Hmm. But it worked out. I mean, like towards the end of working on that, like those couple songs, like it got better, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Stage fright.
But that's just like, you know, that at that point, it's just like, you know, you do something so often, and it just becomes like second nature, and
Yeah.
that goes along with just making music. Like the more you do it, and the more you like, you know, the more time you invest in it, like you're just gonna keep getting better, you know. And like for us at the age we are at, and like where we're at in school, and like still learning some things, like that's all we really can do.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have a whole production team. We have each other, and we're just like, hey, when you have a chance, like, can you listen to this? Or when you have a chance, like, do you want to help me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like sometimes that leads to some really late nights. That leads to like, oh crap, I'm done with homework now. I can work on music. Thank gosh.
Yeah.
You know,
The red room until 2.
dude, that was prime. I think that was actually illegal. I don't think we were allowed to be in there past
No.
12.
No, you're not. But
Yeah,
like,
so
The people who would be knocking on the doors and like waiting for us. Oh my god.
yeah, you remember that one guy spring semester last year? He would always like knock on the door at 11:59, be like, "Yo, if you guys leave, can you like leave the door open for me?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah,
We're
I
not
know, that's
leaving.
just so annoying.
Yeah, we're not
there.
leaving. Like, I'm gonna sleep here.
my God.
seriously, dude, there's 2 couches, man, a lot of carpet space. Oh man, you could totally sleep in there.
You can call it a night when the lights in the studio don't shine no more.
Facts. But anyways,
man.
I think we've had a great discussion, just like as musicians, you know,
Yeah.
the 3 of us, and it's been an hour, you know, and
Yeah,
We
I'm
got
surprised
to-
we lasted this long.
I know I'm exhausted. It's Thursday night.
I know.
But anyways, I'm grateful that we're able to have a guest. And
Yeah, for sure.
Adrian, you got anything?
No, I mean, like you said, man, great discussion, great times. It was really good, like catching up with you too, Brennan. Like we haven't talked in a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
In a way, like I've been just like talking to you through Clarke. You know, like he's been that middleman for a little bit. But
Yeah.
it was good to finally like talk to you, man. It's been a while. Glad to see you're doing good. Super proud of you for releasing this project.
Thank you.
I think it can really only go up from here, man. Like you're on a good path. Just keep grinding, man. You got to be in love with that grind.
True.
Yeah, bro.
You
You
know,
got your
I
sound,
think-
you got your stuff.
Yeah, I
On
mean,
the
like
right path.
all of us, like we're gonna take a lot of losses before we get a solid win. You know,
Yeah.
and that's just life, man. You just got to keep going. You know,
True.
and we're gonna keep going. We're on our way for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, any final thoughts? We ready to sign off?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a
Alright.
pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Bro,
For
anytime
sure,
you want
man,
to swing
for sure.
by, talk about some music, you know,
Yeah,
if you ever want to hit us up one week and be like, what are you guys planning on talking about? And we tell you, and you like the artist or something and you want to hop on, just let us know.
For sure, for sure.
That'd be dope. So
Yeah.
as always, I'm Adrian.
I'm Clarke.
That's your turn. That's your cue, Brendan. That's your cue. You gotta hop on. You've heard enough
My bad.
podcasts.
Oh.
Yeah,
episodes.
I have heard the podcast before. I was
You-
just,
you've
you know,
heard-
I was so
You're
caught
just
off
like, what
guard
do
by
I
being
say?
involved.
What do I say?
We
Bro,
do
you're
this every
you're a part of this
time.
episode. You're a
Ah,
part of this
man.
episode. That's your cue. Take 2.
Dude, I was
guess
doing
we
so
gotta do-
well. I wasn't cringe for the whole time, and then all of a sudden,
Awkward silence.
And you could see his face. Like, what do I do? What do I do?
I was
What do I
like,
do?
Jesus Christ.
you want me to speak?
Take 2.
All right, let's just take 2. All right, let's go. Let's get it. As always, I'm Adrian.
I'm Clarke.
I'm Brendan.
And we'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.
I saw you when you walked in, bulletproof when you got under my skin. Turn me inside out. I'll go crazy. Tied me up and shaped away. Kept my arms buckled up so tight. Do what you like, lock me away. is a temple. Had to go so far to find it. She bent me over backwards, but I'm still not invited. 2 years I've been with you, through tears I've been with you. She hyped me up along with me, she hold me down when I meet up. She knows that I'm psycho for her like a Michael Myers. Yeah, she got me straight up suicidal. These walls better back up me now, 'cause my girl will knock them out. She's the jealous type, and I know she just wanna hold me down. I saw you when you walked in, bulletproof when you got under my skin. Turn me inside out. I'll go crazy. Tied me up in shades of white. Kept my arms buckled up so tight. Do what you like, lock me away. I'll go crazy. Damn, your love makes me crazy. Your mood swings are amazing. See you talking to a girl, you gonna shut that shit down. Me and her were just friends, what's the deal? You say, shut up, I'm done, it's for real. You keep my car walked right out to baby, I don't need this now. But you were just tripping, it's so superstition. Never thought it would be you that I'm missing, but accidents happen and I want forgiveness. But this ain't love, it's crazy. You're crazy. I saw you when you walked in, bulletproof when you got under my skin. Turn me inside out. I go crazy. Tied me up in shades of white. Kept my arms buckled up so tight. Do what you like, lock me away. I go crazy. I saw you when you walked in, bulletproof, but you got under my skin. Turn me inside out. I'll go crazy. Tied me up in shades of white. Kept my arms buckled up so tight. Do what you like, lock me away. Yeah.